There's a story you've probably heard 1,000 times. A man feels disrespected, overlooked, or taken for granted. He decides to go silent. No calls, no texts, no explanations. He waits, believing his absence will shake her, that she'll come running back, desperate for his attention. But days turn to weeks, and silence echoes with no reply. She seems unbothered, unaffected, maybe even thriving without him. And he's left wondering, why isn't my silence shaking her? What went wrong? If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Silence is a powerful tool, but only when wielded with wisdom, intention, and inner discipline. The ancient Stoics mastered the art of detachment, control, and influence without uttering a word. Today, we're going to break down why your silence isn't working and reveal Stoic tactics you can use to reclaim your power, shift the dynamic, and command respect in a way that words never could. 1. The mistake most men make with silence. Most men use silence as a weapon, a passive-aggressive tactic designed to punish, control, or trigger guilt. But true power isn't about forcing a reaction. It's about controlling your own state, mastering your emotions, and becoming unshakable. Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Meaning, when someone disrespects you, the real victory isn't in making them suffer. It's in rising above it, remaining centered, and refusing to let their behavior dictate your inner world. If you're going silent with the expectation that she'll crumble, beg, or apologize, you've already lost. Because your silence isn't genuine detachment, it's manipulation. And people can feel that energy, even from a distance. 2. Understanding emotional leverage. In any relationship or interaction, there's an invisible exchange of power and attention. Emotional leverage comes from valuing yourself so highly that you don't need anyone's validation to feel whole. The Stoics believe that the only thing truly within your control is your mind, your thoughts, your reactions, your decisions. Everything else, including other people's opinions, affections, and actions, are external and ultimately irrelevant to your peace. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Meaning, it's not her indifference that hurts you. It's the story you're telling yourself about what her indifference means. If you want your silence to be effective, it can't be about getting a response. It must be about reclaiming your peace and prioritizing your self-respect above the need for external reassurance. 3. The art of strategic disconnection. The Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort, intentionally detaching from pleasures, people, and possessions to remind themselves that nothing external is essential for happiness. When you choose silence, do it for your own growth, not as a strategy to control others. Use this time to reconnect with your purpose. Rebuild your confidence independent of others. Reflect on what you truly want in your relationships. Silence is a shield, not a sword. It protects your peace rather than attacking others. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Going silent should be a reaction rooted in self-respect, not spite. 4. When to go silent. The Stoic criteria. Not every situation requires silence. The Stoics taught discernment, knowing when to engage and when to withdraw. Consider silence when you're emotionally triggered and at risk of saying something you'll regret. The other person is seeking to provoke or manipulate you. Words have lost their meaning, and action speaks louder. You need time to reflect, recalibrate, and regain composure. Remember, strategic silence isn't avoidance. It's an intentional pause to preserve your dignity and power. 5. Signs she's unaffected and why. So why isn't your silence shaking her? There are several possible reasons. She's emotionally detached. If she's already lost emotional investment, your absence won't register. She sees through your intentions. If your silence feels performative or manipulative, it loses power. She's distracted by other attention. If she's receiving validation elsewhere, your absence feels irrelevant. She believes you'll cave first. If past patterns suggest you'll break the silence, she'll wait you out. You haven't shifted the energy. Silence without personal growth doesn't shift power dynamics. If you're still obsessing internally, the energy remains unchanged. 6. Stoic tactics to reclaim your power. Now, here's how you reclaim your power, with or without her response. 1. Redirect focus to self-mastery. Train your mind like a warrior. Commit to mental discipline through daily practices. Morning journaling, meditation, physical training, reading Stoic texts. 2. Embrace voluntary discomfort. Distance yourself from comforts and attachments. Sleep without your phone nearby. Say no to unnecessary conversations. Practice fasting or cold showers. Prove to yourself you don't need anything external to be content. 3. Cultivate indifference to external outcomes. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Your peace must no longer hinge on who calls, texts, or pays attention. Shift your validation inward. 4. Become unpredictable. Routine reactions are easy to manipulate. Break the cycle. Don't just go silent. Thrive in your silence. Post about your progress, show up elevated, or simply vanish and let your growth speak for itself. 5. Increase your value. Quietly work on your finances, fitness, mindset, and social influence without broadcasting it. People are drawn to power they can sense but can't quite explain. 6. Refuse to engage in petty games. If she reaches out with baiting messages or tests, stay composed. Respond only when it serves your peace, not your ego. 7. Detach from the outcome. The most potent energy comes from genuinely not needing her response. Whether she returns or disappears becomes irrelevant when you've reclaimed yourself. 7. The subtle return of power. Paradoxically, when you stop needing someone to care, that's when they often notice you most. But by then, you may realize you've outgrown the attachment. Silence isn't about punishment, it's about preservation. It's about creating space for your higher self to emerge. Epictetus taught, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. When you master the art of strategic disconnection, you no longer flinch at absence, indifference, or rejection. You become self-sufficient, resilient, and magnetic, not because you seek to be noticed, but because you no longer care if you are. 8. When and how to re-engage. Silence isn't meant to be permanent. It's a reset. The Stoics believed in harmonious relationships, but only when they didn't compromise inner peace. Consider re-engaging if you're genuinely detached from the outcome. You can interact from a place of strength, not neediness. Mutual respect can be re-established. When you do, speak calmly, with clear boundaries, and without expectation. The power lies in your indifference to the result. If your silence isn't shaking her, it's because power doesn't lie in absence alone, it lies in self-mastery. When you choose stillness not as a tactic, but as a testament to your discipline and self-respect, the dynamic shifts. Use this time to reclaim your mind, fortify your soul, and build a life so powerful that no one's attention or absence defines you. The Stoics didn't seek control over others, they sought control over themselves. And in doing so, they commanded a presence and respect that no words could manufacture. So, when you go silent, let it be the sound of your higher self rising. Not a plea for attention, but a proclamation of independence. And trust that in mastering yourself, you'll master the world around you. Stay stoic.